In the far north, the Yukon's brief, brilliant summer offers a fleeting window of opportunity. For a handful of gold miners, these precious few months are an all-out war against the elements, a high-stakes gamble where fortunes are won and lost. The prize, millions of dollars in gold, locked away for millennia in the frozen, unforgiving ground. The clock is always ticking, with the first breath of autumn, signaling the end of the season and the inevitable return of the crushing ice. Every hour is critical, every ounce of gold a victory against the encroaching winter. The gold rush is a race against time and geology. Here, the earth itself is an adversary. Miners must tear through layers of dense permafrost and navigate the unpredictable contours of ancient buried creek beds. The pay dirt, that elusive layer of gold-rich gravel, can be meters thick in one spot and vanish entirely
just
a few feet away. It's a puzzle laid down by Ice Age floods, and
right out of
solving
the
it
gate,
requires
Parker
immense
proved he
power,
was deadly
precision,
serious.
and an unwavering belief in what lies beneath. To conquer this landscape, the miners rely on a fleet of multi-million-dollar machines. These steel titans are the heart of the operation, capable of moving mountains of earth in a single day. They are the engines of progress, the tools that turn geological theory into tangible gold. But they are also complex, temperamental beasts, pushed to their absolute limits, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Under the relentless strain of continuous operation, even the strongest steel can bend, and the most robust engine can falter. But this season, a far more menacing enemy has emerged: mechanical failure. It's a silent plague spreading from claim to claim. Not the isolated breakdown of a single part, but a systemic, cascading wave of malfunctions. Hydraulic lines, stressed beyond their endurance, are bursting. Transmissions, choked with grit and grime, are seizing. Bearings, worn down by millions of rotations, are disintegrating, bringing colossal machines to a grinding, shuddering halt. Across the Yukon, production targets are collapsing as critical machines fall apart. For every hour a wash plant is silent, thousands of dollars are lost. It's not just the cost of repairs, it's the undug earth, the unwashed gravel, the gold that remains locked in the ground. The financial bleeding is relentless. With razor-thin margins, this epidemic of breakdowns isn't just threatening profits, it's threatening the survival of entire operations. The season is no longer a race against the cold, but a desperate battle against failing iron. Parker Schnabel, fighting to honor his grandfather's legacy, is facing a crippling hydraulic disaster. Every minute the wash plant is down is thousands of dollars lost, and a potential season failure looms large. In the unforgiving Yukon, every mining operation is a high-stakes gamble, but for former Green Beret Fred Lewis, the odds are stacked uniquely against him. This isn't just a quest for gold, it's a mission to build a new life for his crew of fellow military veterans. But noble intentions don't pay the bills, and as the season marches on, the brutal reality of their financial situation is becoming dangerously clear. The challenge is no longer about striking it rich. It has become a desperate fight for survival. Fred secured his claim with a significant investment, a hefty loan from a backer who expects a return. Every day, a relentless financial clock ticks down. The weekly burn rate, a voracious combination of fuel costs, equipment rentals, and crew wages, eats away at their dwindling capital. With each passing hour, the pressure mounts, turning the dream of a mother lode into a potential nightmare of debt. The margin for error has evaporated. Now, every decision carries the weight of the entire enterprise. At the heart of this financial crisis is a mechanical one. Fred's operation is critically dependent on a fleet of aging, unreliable machinery. These are not state-of-the-art rigs, but second-hand workhorses pushed far beyond their intended lifespan. The primary water pumps, the lifeblood of the wash plant, are a constant source of anxiety. They sputter, they leak, and they fail with alarming regularity. Each breakdown isn't just an inconvenience, it's a direct assault on their bottom line. When a pump goes down, the entire operation grinds to a halt. The sluices run dry, the excavator sits motionless, and the crew can do little more than wait. This downtime is a silent killer. Gold isn't being recovered, but the costs, fuel for the generator, camp expenses, and wages continue to accumulate. It's a catastrophic financial leak that no amount of patchwork can permanently fix. Fred is trapped in a vicious cycle. He needs gold to afford new equipment, but he can't get enough gold without reliable equipment. This constant struggle is taking a heavy toll on the one asset Fred values most, his crew. He brought these men and women to the Yukon with a promise of purpose and prosperity. Now they see the mounting failures and feel the growing tension. Faith is a finite resource, and as the breakdowns multiply and the gold pans come up light, morale is beginning to fracture. The bonds forged in shared service are being tested by the harsh realities of gold mining, and hushed, frustrated conversations are becoming more frequent. The proof, ultimately, is in the sluice. Despite their back-breaking effort, the results are profoundly disappointing. The ground they are on is yielding just enough color to keep a sliver of hope alive, but nowhere near the volume needed to turn a profit or even break even. Each cleanup reveals the same grim picture, a smattering of fine gold that represents a fraction of their daily operating cost. They are moving mountains of dirt for mere dust. For Fred, the weight is immense. The entire investment, his reputation, and his profound debt to his investor risk being swallowed by the Yukon mud. More than that, his promise to his team, the very foundation of this venture, is on the verge of sinking with it. With time and money running out, he faces an impossible choice: cut his losses and admit defeat, or risk everything on one last desperate gamble. In the unforgiving Yukon, the mining season is a relentless battle against time. For Rick Ness and his crew, that clock is ticking louder than ever. Weeks of relentless effort have yielded frustratingly little, pushing their operation to the financial and emotional precipice. Fuel reserves are critically low, equipment is wearing thin, and the northern winter, a force that waits for no one, is closing in. With morale at an all-time low, the weight of the entire season now rests squarely on Rick's shoulders. He's faced with a decision that will either salvage their year or condemn it to failure. His eyes are fixed on a section of the claim previously dismissed as too difficult, too unpredictable. It's a geological anomaly, a deep, ancient channel carved into the bedrock, notoriously difficult to access, but rumored to hold rich, virgin ground. With time running out and morale low, Rick Ness takes a massive gamble on this risky new cut. The first challenge is immense: removing the overburden. This is the thick layer of sterile soil, rock, and frozen earth that sits on top of the gold-bearing gravel, or pay dirt. In this particular area, the overburden is dozens of feet deep, a colossal wall of worthless material that must be moved before they can even think about finding gold. Every bucket load costs precious fuel and time, with zero chance of a return. It's a test of faith, a high-stakes excavation where the only reward for hours of work is simply getting closer to the starting line. The crew watches, a mixture of hope and skepticism on their faces. They know the risks. Dig too fast, and you risk a catastrophic collapse of the high wall. Dig too slow, and the season will end before they ever reach the pay. As the excavator digs deeper, the geology begins to shift. The dark topsoil gives way to lighter-colored gravels and dense blue-gray clay, a telltale sign they are approaching an ancient water channel. This is the critical phase of pay layer identification. Rick must read the ground like a map, looking for the specific indicators that signal the presence of placer gold, deposits left behind by flowing water millions of years ago. He's searching for a distinct band of rust-colored gravel, often packed with smooth, rounded rocks and black sand. This is the pay streak, the geological treasure chest they've been hunting for, but identifying it is only half the battle. Before committing his entire operation, he needs proof. He signals for a test pan, the oldest and most reliable method in mining. A sample is carefully extracted from the newly exposed layer. The mood is tense as the dirt is expertly washed. The process is a delicate dance of water and gravity, washing away the lighter sands and clays to leave behind only the heaviest materials. First, the dark signature of black sand appears, a promising sign, as its high density means it often settles in the same locations as gold. Then, as the last of the water is drained, the moment of truth arrives. A flash of yellow. A few small specks, no bigger than grains of sugar, cling to the bottom of the pan. It's not a king's ransom, but it's gold. It's the confirmation Rick needed. The gamble is on. The discovery ignites a fresh surge of adrenaline through the crew. The focus now shifts from excavation to production. Now every minute counts. The excavator transitions from stripping overburden to feeding the beast, the wash plant. The goal is to process as much pay dirt as physically possible. Inside the plant, a process of controlled chaos begins. High-pressure water jets bombard the gravel, breaking it apart. The resulting slurry is then channeled down the sluice boxes. Long troughs lined with riffles designed to trap heavy gold particles, while allowing lighter gravel to wash away. This requires constant optimization. The angle of the sluices, the velocity of the water, the spacing of the riffles, every variable must be perfectly calibrated. Too much water, and fine gold will be blown straight through the system. Too little, and the riffles will clog with worthless rock. It's a desperate attempt to strike it rich and pull the season back from the brink. The pressure is immense. Every gallon of diesel burned, every hour of runtime, adds to the mountain of debt they must overcome. As day turns to night, the operation continues under the harsh glare of floodlights, a lone island of industry in the vast Yukon darkness. For Rick and his crew, sleep is a luxury they cannot afford. Their season rests entirely on this final treacherous bet. The hopes, the hardships, and the financial future of everyone on the team are now being washed through that sluice box waiting to be revealed. Please subscribe to our channel History Documentary Hub for more insightful videos and intriguing content.